they're black. I'm like it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and start today's episode of Escaping Podcast.
The best podcast in Colorado Springs when it comes to all things geek, nerdy, and everything in between.
And by everything in between, he means from page 1 to page 100 of your shitty script that should have never made it to the screen. Today we are talking about bad adaptations and movies based off of Eastern culture.
Yep.
Are you saying white people don't understand Asians?
I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying that.
They don't.
As always, I am your host, Daniel Rojas, joined by...
Kels for Show, a.k.a. The Last Samurai Jackson.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's like 3 in 1, baby.
I know, that was the whole thing. And with us back again, no longer with Rice Cakes here, but Return of the Queen...
Michelle with no intro. But thank you, Rice Cakes, for filling in. I adore you.
Oh, she did a great job. It's like you weren't even gone.
She always does. I know.
Exactly. And
I came back and was like, am I even on here anymore?
We had a whole talk about it. Yeah. We don't know.
For real. And you can say rice cakes because you're Asian too, so it's not racist at all. No, go ahead.
We are on part 4 of our East to West series, and that is going to be the best of the worst. It's what we like to do towards the end, just the 3 of us, talking about ways that this series has failed.
Yes.
And I know already a few of you have some movies in mind, and hopefully we get to them. But, Kelsey, go ahead and start us off.
I'm going to start off kind of light with this one. And it's just going to be one of the prime examples of quote-unquote whitewashing of Asian films.
Not the one that I was saving for the end.
Is this Tom Cruise? No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Which, on paper, like, it's going to sound funny when you say this, but, like, you don't realize how things actually translate and affect people if you're not familiar with that culture and the perspective.
Yes.
And I still like the movie. I think it's a fine movie. I enjoyed it as a kid. But as I grew up and I started listening to people complain or make their critiques of the film, I'm like, okay, I get it now. Also, kind of like how growing up in the South, I didn't know any better when we had the Confederate flag hanging up in Georgia.
Wait, that thing's problematic, isn't it?
I didn't know that. I was like, oh, that's our flag. Whoop-de-whoop. Like, I didn't think nothing other until I learned about the history of it, which they don't really teach kids.
Right.
And then once I got older, I'm like, oh, yeah, that shit need to come down. Like, that shit's not cool, but me being ignorant or just being naive about the situation, you just see a flag as a flag, but you don't know what that shit represents. And even with the Dukes of Hazzard, they're like, yo, I love that fucking... I can't say I love the show. I didn't watch the show, but I was cool with it. The car was cool. They jumped. So I'm just like, all right, you don't have to get rid of the whole show. Just like digitally take out the flag. Like, it's totally fine. And the thing, too, with The Last Samurai...
The Last Samurai.
It's not... And it's historically accurate to a degree. Like, he was a character, but to make the focus of a movie about the... What I would say, the deconstruction of their military presence.
Yeah.
It's all about the white man and his hand and how if it was not for him, then y'all wouldn't be able to do the shit you were doing. I was like, that's fucked up.
Well, okay. I mean, we're not here to say Tom Cruise is tone deaf in some of the choices he makes of movies or that he's a crazy person. But maybe he could make more, research into the roles he picks and seeing the way it's portraying the story.
And I can't even blame him because I would have been in that movie. I can't wait to play a samurai. So, I ain't mad at him getting that check.
and the thing is, like, I like Tom Cruise as an actor. I do. But sometimes I feel like he's put on a pedestal where people are like, oh, any film that he's in, anything that he...
He's got to be on a pedestal.
I know he's like 5'2", but in every movie he's like 6'7".
Where's that like for?
Is it a pedestal or is it just a step stool?
For real.
Yeah,
both. Box.
Yeah.
Yo,
so it's like people feel like he can't do any wrong. I mean, have you seen interviews like with other actors around him? They're like, oh, I was on a film with Tom Cruise. Like, okay, we got it, but this role...
I believe that was an Ellen DeGeneres impersonation you just did. That was good.
You gotta dance now, girl.
Well, you've got to dance and then neglect the way you're, Cruise being treated by the sexually abusing people on the team.
Word. Mm-hmm. And that's interesting, too, you said about Tom Cruise, because he makes a lot of stinkers, too.
Yeah.
But when he's good, he's great. But his great is relegated to his abilities. Mm-hmm. Because he's not like a Robert De Niro. He's not a Denzel. He's not a Leonardo DiCaprio. He's not even a Matt Damon. He's Tom Cruise. So we know what to expect from him. So I think when we get a little bit more, it's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn.
But he's also...
Oh, yeah, you can't act.
I think the funniest movie he's ever been in was Jerry Maguire, and he wasn't even the funny one.
No.
He was accidental humor.
Accidental humor.
He wasn't
He
trying to
does
be
his own
funny.
stunts, and I think that's how he gets everybody to be like, whoo.
My roommates were just talking about that last night.
Yeah.
He's also a crazy person.
Yeah, and we respect him for his ethic and his person more than his actual talent and his craft.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like,
I would totally run risks too if I thought Scientology was going to save me.
because the thing too is like let's be honest. The Rock doesn't make the best movies, but we love The Rock, so we enjoy them.
He knows his roles though.
Exactly.
It's comedy and it's great.
And also, he can act. The
Yeah.
Rock
He
has
can
chops, so
act.
when we do catch him doing some real acting, we're like, oh yeah.
Well, and you know, I didn't want to watch the Jumanji movies, the new ones, but you know what? I enjoyed the fuck out of them.
Both of them
too.
shit. I was like, you know why? Because we had low expectations. I was like, yo, this shit.
This is actually pretty
I
fucking
thought
good.
Jack Black's character in the first one was gonna be annoying as fuck. Guess what? My favorite character in the whole damn movie.
And Kevin Hart was in it, which everybody knows I adore Kevin Hart and The Rock together.
Yeah, no, and those two together,
Yes.
that father-son duo.
Yes.
I fuss with Kevin Hart, but he has his limitations with me.
Okay, so Last Samurai, what about it really was wrong for you with this movie?
Oh, I just said nothing was really wrong with me.
Freudian slip, huh?
Well, personally, because I haven't seen it in a long time, but I really don't think anything. I had a real issue with it being a movie. It's like I said, in retrospect, just the fact that it was another white savior character in a, I don't know, ethnic movie,
Oh, yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
That was my only like main gripe about it. Like I love the action. It was actifying, the costumes, everything was like authentic in a sense, or at least historically accurate. It was just the fact like you made him the last samurai.
Yeah.
To quote Paul Mooney, it was like you gonna make a movie called Last Nigga on Earth, starring Tom Hanks. It's like, nah, bro. Like, you know. And we love some Tom Hanks.
Oh, well, I mean, yes, but I'm not even getting to that. So there's another movie with Matt Damon playing the white
The
savior
Great
role.
Wall. Yeah.
Tell me about that, Michelle.
You know, I watched it so many years ago. I was trying to remember all the things that kind of irks me about it, but it's the same thing. It was like he suddenly appears and he's this great archer and he's going to save them after they've been defending this wall every 60 years. And I'm like, okay, cool.
For a long ass fucking
Yeah.
time.
And I'm like, okay, sweet. So things are evolving and suddenly here comes Matt Damon.
Oh, Matt Damon!
And it's all going to be A-okay. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, because first I remember, I don't remember the movie I was seeing back when we could all go to theaters, but they do this thing about how there is the Great Wall of China, and it was meant to keep out these monsters and all these things. And then, at that point, I was very excited. And then, Matt Damon comes on screen, and he's like, I'm gonna save you from yourselves. The fuck are you doing in this movie?
Yeah.
So, what, other than Matt Damon being the white savior, was there anything else that was problematic about that movie for you, Michelle?
I mean, the CGI wasn't that great. I mean, it was great for, I guess, that year. I don't know. Like, I tried to watch it again recently this weekend. I was like, let me just try to watch it again and kind of refresh myself. And I got halfway through and I was like, okay, I want to watch something else. And I was just over it. So I couldn't be a movie critic because when I'm done, I'm done.
See, the movie, once again, is like one of these movies, kind of like Bloodshot, kind of like, I wouldn't say Rampage. It's like, we're a little more sophisticated now in this day and age that movies like that, you have to come better. The CGI, since it's a CGI heavy film, you have to have that top notch. Even like with the Transformers, even though most of the CGI is top notch, you can't see the robots. That's a whole nother conversation. But that has to be on point, and you can give us a very intricate, detailed plot as well with great character development. If the Great Wall would have came out in like 98 to like 2002, it would have raised a whole generation of people like, yo, that was I love it. Oh my God, it was so dope, man. When he came with the arrows and all this shit, that we had Jet Li in that hole. Oh, I'm racist because was Jet Li in that? No, he wasn't in that. He wasn't in that one. I'm thinking about the Mummy, the Dragon King or Emperor King.
Scorpion King.
No, the
it was
third
the
one.
Emperor.
Tomb of the Dragon King.
Yes, but it's like one of those like it was
Dragon
made
Emperor?
something like that. It was Dragon because they were Asian.
Yeah.
But if it would have came out early in this millennia, we would have been fine. It would have been dope. It would have been, like I said, it would have been one of our favorite movies, but it didn't. It came out in a time and period when we got to pay all this money to see a mediocre action movie. It would have been one of those movies that come on Saturday afternoon after Fox Kids go off. And like, oh shit, it's on, guys.
Yeah, it would come on after what was that show? The Lost World. Y'all remember The Lost World?
Living in the Land of the Lost?
No,
when it was
no.
with the dinosaurs?
No, not Land of the Lost. The Lost World TV show.
Who was in that?
It's not ringing a bell.
Oh my god. Do an IMDb on your own time. But
Yeah.
I think what, like you were saying, yes, we have to be a little more sophisticated in this time. And some people say, oh, well, we've been spoiled. I don't think we're spoiled. I think we're just...
I think the other thing that Kelsey brings up is like character development and the storyline. And I'm going to touch base on that later in like the horror genre of Japanese films brought to America.
Yes.
But there is the lack, and they don't understand how these ancient folklores and everything build up to that intense of a storyline. So it kind of takes away from it, because in The Great Wall, when they briefly touch on, oh, well, every 60 years they come, and then eventually if we don't stop them, they'll take over the world. Like, you can have a little more in-depth storyline instead of just flashing right back to Matt Damon over here.
Exactly, and that's the thing, too, because we had that story arc. We had those characters when it came to the Chinese characters in the film. Like, there was love there were friendships, there's family. You could do the whole dynamic. And because when I'm watching it, like, I see the anime. I know how this anime would work. I see the character development, the paths. And then in the anime, Matt Damon, of course, would have been Asian, so we wouldn't have that whole issue. And old buddy Pascal, what's his first name?
Yeah.
The Mandalorian?
Yes, I don't know his last name.
But
yeah.
Pascal, he's in it too. He's Matt Damon's homeboy. So you got that dynamic. Plus, like we talked about on the previous episode, the Ronin story arc. They were both Ronin. They used to work for the king, or they were just bounty hunters or mercenaries, so they go around doing jobs. And Matt Damon's already... So you get two of the tropes. You get the, I'm a Ronin, and I'm getting too old for this shit, because Matt Damon's like, I'm trying to not fight no more, bro. But next thing you know, he goes off into the sunset. It was like, here I go to fight another day. And all the Asians like, thank you.
He's like, I've been saving too many minority cultures. You know, it's time for me to take a step back. Maybe let them evolve.
Exactly. Then he come in and the main Asian shorty's like, Then her dude's like, wait, man, we grew up together. We had our destiny, and he just come in. He don't even want you because he's like, girl, so I'm done. I'm gone.
Yeah, and he kind of brings that up, and you see that kind of dynamic a lot in films like that, because when she was talking about if you don't have trust, you can't be trusted, and he's like, oh, no, that's not how I work. And
I work best alone. But you got a whole partner.
Yeah, so...
You're Hawk and Dove.
He doesn't trust his partner, obviously.
He don't.
No.
And it's like, okay, is that where your American loyalty lies? I mean, how does this work?
He's all about the Americas.
Yeah.
So, with those tropes, there's a few other ones that have done it wrong. And I know that, Avatar is a Western-made, show. But they even, the way that they use the tropes of, well, these are the good white people, and these are the bad brown people, and here's the Earthbenders that no one really gives a shit about.
It would have been different if they would have made the Fire Nation different ethnicities, but they made them all basically Middle Eastern or quote-unquote Muslim, but then every other nation, there's a hodgepodge of different races, colors, and shades, but like, no, they're the bad guys. I was like, that's rude as fuck. Like, you could, if you're going to diversify one nation, you got to do everybody the same way.
Yeah.
Because that would have saved some of that backlash from that. But then on top of that, mispronouncing names, like, motherfucker, we had a whole cartoon. Their names are their names.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this movie the other day. It's like, there's always some good and some bad with everything. But they had aspects to that film that I thought were okay, decent, some were actually good. Like, I like the relationship between Iroh and Zuko in that movie, because it's pretty much the same like the cartoon. Like, at least y'all got that right.
Sure.
And it's kind of like in Spider-Man, like the movie, Tobey Maguire, web shooters were organic, and in the Avatar movie, the firebenders needed a fire source. So it's like, okay, in the cartoon they did, but it makes sense in the world. Like, if everybody needed a source,
right.
I'm fine with little changes here and there, but
I think the downfall to that was M. Night Shyamalan is amazing when he makes certain type of films, because he'll explain to you a lot of them are derived from his dreams. When he's trying to take something that has already been made, already created, it was his failure.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Village, Lady in the
Whoa.
Lady in the Water.
Wait. Stop. First, yes, I agree with you, Michelle. That was his hubris, and it hurt even more because he's like, I'm a fan, my kids watch it. Like, I fuss with him, like, that's my dude. So when he made the movie, you gonna get it. That's what hurt, I think, most fans, because we knew how much he fucked with the show. So how can you fuck it up? And second of all, Lady in the Water was legit.
No, it was.
Yeah, it was
Lady
legit.
in the Water is an amazing film.
That's legit. It's legit. I won't say because I don't know if she's joking or not.
No,
but
I'm not.
I like
that
it.
movie.
I won't say it's amazing, but I like it.
I love that.
I like it.
I love The Village.
Was hot booties.
No.
As soon as I realized them were monsters, I wanted to walk out the theater. I can't even be scared.
Because
my fault.
And it wasn't. I don't think Village, off topic, is meant to scare you. It's to show you how pliable the human brain is and how they will fall for anything.
I already know that.
No.
I didn't in the movie.
Michelle makes a point because we fell for buying tickets to another M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Exactly, because I thought I was gonna be scared. I thought I was gonna be scared. I'm like, monsters? What are the origin of these monsters? It's gonna get. Remember the trailer, the little hand went like this. Oh, girl, don't touch that.
God.
I was gonna say one of the best things I seen online when Avatar came out, and they were like, well, for waterbenders, you think that the fight's gonna be like intense, the water's gonna move real fast, and they were like, at this point, just throw hands. And I was like, yeah, because it was so slow moving.
So going with bad adaptations, there's one that we have to talk about. I know we've talked about it before on this show, and I think you guys know where I'm going with this.
Here we go
Death
again.
I was like, Death Note?
Death Note's one of them. We'll get to
Yes,
that.
yeah.
But let's talk about the granddaddy, the worst of the worst.
The grand wizard of them?
Oh, yes. Yes. This movie is so bad that I couldn't even bring myself to rewatch it for this episode.
I was thinking about it.
I thought about it too.
I'm like, nah, girl, I'm not gonna do that.
And if
I watched Dark Phoenix again before I watched that.
Oh my god! If you've listened to the show, then you know what I'm gonna say. And that's Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh my god!
I didn't know you were gonna say that because I really loved it.
Oh my god! And it's.
Are you?
No, I'm
And
not
the thi-
serious. Absolutely not.
We're about to have a new host on the show. Rice Cakes, if you'd like to come back, I do know that you don't like hot trash.
Yeah, no, it was actually, I didn't even get through it.
So, okay.
Oh, Michelle likes Johnny Depp. She likes hot trash.
Okay, let's not even get into how that man was battered and
he's
abused.
good no, well, what?
Okay. He got part of his finger cut
No, I was just going with a random white Hollywood guy. So that was just his
Leo.
He's a great actor.
No, he's not hot trash. Lee. I know.
Okay.
I know better than
Okay,
you.
back on
No,
topic.
I know that I had started that film and then I never even finished it. I think I got about, 30 minutes into it.
Doing a movie based on Dragon Ball, period, will never satisfy anybody. Kind of like start like a comic book movie. Where do you start? Because so much history has gone on with these characters. And I think one of the biggest things was trying to go back to the roots, starting with Piccolo being evil and all that, and Goku just not realizing some space or wherever they was talking about in the movie. Because with Dragon Ball Z, you have to treat the fans as if, or you have to treat the audience as if they know exactly what they walked into. Don't give us no backstory. You can tell us about Dragon Balls through explanations, but you just throw us in the world, have Goku, Vegeta, all the people, and they get into some random shit, then you figure out what's going on. And if you don't know shit about it, ask somebody about it.
Right.
And that's,
sorry, you go for it.
And that's the problem. It's like, am I familiar with it? Of course. Am I in depth into it like you and Dan are? No. But even 30 minutes into that film, I knew. I was like, oh God, I can't.
Even if you do something like they did with Black Panther, where you talk about how Wakanda was created,
yeah,
and just a little shadow cinematic kind of thing,
like 5 minutes
maybe. Just tell me who Shenron is. Tell me about the Dragon Balls. Tell me about what's been going on.
Or you could do it like cliche as hell. Have it a manga. Just like this story. This is a story about
Yes.
This is me flipping through the pages.
I was like, are we playing cards?
Yeah.
But then you don't even have Master Roshi look like Master Roshi. You get Chow Yun Fat, and you listen. I'm not hating on him because the man made some good movies, but he made a mistake with this one.
Exactly.
Are you saying any of the characters look like any of the characters?
Piccolo, not even Piccolo. He wasn't even green.
He was green, but he looked like
he was like lima bean green. He wasn't like green.
He had like a Green Goblin kind of look to him.
Yeah, not the good one.
Not
like
the good one.
old buddy from Amazing Spider-Man when he like looked like he had like COVID-22 or some shit. That motherfucker was like,
Preview of 2022.
for real, like we all gonna be looking like Gobby. But and the thing too about that also is like this is the weird thing about anime American adaptations too, because I didn't realize that till I got way older that all these characters for the most part in anime are supposed to be Asian, but because the way the manga style and anime styles are drawn to have the big eyes, because anime comes from old buddies inspiration from Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse, they make them look very Western.
Yes.
So, like, growing up watching Sailor Moon,
And
of
it's
course.
also considered a more appealing look if you go further back.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And growing up watching Sailor Moon, back in the day on USA, like, I thought they were all American because she was blonde. I didn't see blonde Asians. Like, I just assumed they was American. But then you get older, like, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. Like, even like in Street Fighter, exactly. I didn't know, it says Reyes from Japan, but he never looked Japanese. So when I see him in the movie, like,
right, especially when you pair him with Ken.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, he is Japanese. So, and it's also kind of low-key like the Superman complex, too. It's like, technically he's an alien that happens to look Caucasian.
Yes.
Goku is an alien, and I guess in that world he probably would look, quote-unquote, Asian as well. Do you cast Asians as Saiyans, or can Saiyans be like Kryptonians or other alien races have different shades and variations to their faces as well?
But I think that's one of the things, though, with the way that, people on this earth dress, the way that their customs are, and he fits right in, you got to go with the context clues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But more than him being Asian and the people there being Asian, it needs to look as ridiculous as it did in the show.
Exactly.
Bulma has to have blue hair,
And who don't have blue hair nowadays?
Yeah, right, exactly.
They're not meant to be human figures. Like,
No. Roshi is supposed to have a big turtle shell on his back.
At least.
At least.
But
when you take something that was so outlandish and amazing, and you don't even have a talking pig,
yeah.
But basically, you don't have the ridiculous characters being the ridiculous characters. They are now in a high school setting,
and I can see that angle because it's not too ridiculous, but it's just extra pieces to an already complicated puzzle.
Sure, but I wanted Dragon Ball, not Degrassi evolution. You know what I mean?
Oh, now I need
It would be
now I need
making,
that. That's how you take Degrassi to the next level. No
it would
pun
be
intended.
kind of making like Totoro, and then you having not the cab bus, but you're just having a yellow school bus.
Yeah.
Or
Oh my God! Yes, exactly, exactly.
It's I get what you're saying.
It in a way feels very disrespectful to the source.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, well, we see how your idea worked and is still working, but you know what? That's not what our audience wants. That's not going to test well with Americans, even though Americans watch anime.
And that's the thing too. Like, if you just throw people in the world, like, there's talking cats, dinosaurs running around.
There's dinosaurs running around.
Exactly, because this is not our Earth. You just watch the movie like, oh, I guess this is some shit that happens here. Fine, like, we watch movies with cartoon characters and human beings all the time. Rocky, Bullwinkle, Sonic, the list goes on
Give
and
me
on.
Mr. Popo.
No,
Cool World.
no.
Cool
Cool World is a
World.
classic. I used to love that movie. Was not Matt Damon, Brad Pitt in that?
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Pencil Dick. Yeah. Or was it Needle Dick? One of them. I think it was Pencil Dick because it was drawn.
Yes.
But it was like one of those things too. It's like Mr. Popo racist ass would have been fine. Not really. But if everybody's outlandish, are you gonna really think the black one is actually a black dude, even though he have racist ass lips? But also you can fix that shit in a live action adaptation. Because now they make him purple just like Jinx, and you heard me talk about that shit before.
And,
like,
and you and I talked about when I was playing Dragon Ball Kakarot.
yeah.
Where there's the problematic nature of Mr. Popo. I did not need him to show up in Dragon Ball Evolution, played by let's see,
Anybody black?
CeeLo Green.
Actually, that would have been perfect casting. Like, he looks like this Mo. Like, just don't blacken him. He still could be an alright black dude.
Yeah, it's either CeeLo Green or Bernie Mac.
Bring him R.I.P. He's
But he would have been around for that.
Wait a minute. No, I'm not thinking about that. I'm trying to go with one more black person. No, Carlos Winslow.
Reggie Bell Johnson?
Yeah. What he been up to?
Get out of my house, Kakarot! So yeah, there were problems with this movie, but I'd say one of the biggest ones is its departure from the original source.
Exactly.
When you take it and turn it into a teen drama where they're basically they're in Hawaii or America, some fucking where.
I want to say it was Cali, maybe?
Yeah.
They turned it into a YA that nobody asked for.
And then you've got Goku sliding across some dude's car with his head. And I hate it. I don't hate the guy who played him.
Product placement.
But
You gotta sell merch.
because I also saw that movie, what was it, The Invisible that he was in? Where he died, but he wasn't all the way dead, but then he went and was haunting the girl who killed him, and he's like, I gotta get back to my body.
Wait. He wasn't. All right. Haunted
Can
has
you
a
lay my
negative.
corpse next to me?
Haunted has a negative connotation to it, but no, I seen that movie. That shit was legit. Though.
He's like,
that was a good movie.
He's like, I gotta go touch myself to come
yeah,
back to life.
he was in the woods, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they said that little dude, man. Oh, man.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah,
I
it just
that.
clicked. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was cool. I like that. Then it was like the one, Charlie St. Cloud. That was another ghost one. Then the one with the girl
If I
that
die
died.
like that and I haunt one of you guys, can you just tell me like a fucking pay rent or just fucking go find
It's
your
gonna
own
be
body?
that, or you're gonna get really annoyed by how often I touch myself.
Get out my hair. I was literally about to say that. He like, yo, you better get used to see my penis alive. Because I be bored.
And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will wrap it up like this.
You're watching.
So don't visit you, visit Kelsey.
No, don't.
He said the same thing. He said
I
the
was
same
literally
thing.
about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I don't care who's haunting me. I don't care how close of a relative they are. I don't care if they were the founder of my family.
Fine. I'll go
You need to
visit my
move
mom.
on.
At least she's good at
Thank
ignoring
you.
me.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because if there's a ghost in my room and I think there's something over there, then I'm going to stare intently while furiously jacking it.
There are ghosts everywhere.
Okay, so with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back, and don't you go nowhere. How's it going, guys? This is Daniel.
And Kelsey Show, aka Kelsey Greer, and today we're gonna give you a little introduction to a new show that's coming to our network.
Our network is growing, and we're really excited about what's happening. But instead of us telling you about the show, we figured we'd let the hosts of it bring you in on what's coming up. Guys?
All right, hey guys, we are 3 guys, 10 eyes, just 3 guys. 2 of us wear glasses. Simple math.
Yeah, we just are going over simple entertainment topics, pop culture, sports, music, interviews, and stuff like that as well for the local scene.
Yeah, we're just going to try to bring up the community. If you have anything that you're starting up, your career, we'd like to have you on the show. Just hit us up. We have Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yeah, all of those at 3 guys, 10 eyes.
Word. And do you want to give us your names individually, or is this one collective?
Is this
Like a hydrant?
is this an anonymous thing, or are you all 3 attached like a Cerberus?
Well, we are all 3 attached at the hip.
It's kind of it's
kind of like
almost
Siamese-
disgusting to look
Siamese
at, I have to
twins.
say.
Them hips don't lie though.
Well, it's actually more hips than could lie.
Unfortunately, we have very small hips, so we're just literally...
Like an Instagram model.
I go by Young Pyramid. I also make music, so check me out on
What
that.
type of music you make?
I make hip-hop and like alternative
Do you play
hip-hop.
live instruments, or is it just like?
No, it's all like
He is the
beats, and
instruments.
then I make my own lyrics and I rap.
Yo, we might have to talk, bro. We might have to talk.
I've heard.
No, we will talk.
So when can we expect to hear from you guys next?
We are posting every Tuesday. We go live right now on Facebook. That'll be going on every Sunday and probably for another 3 weeks. And that's on my Facebook, Derek Shreve. You want to go?
We have his name now. Okay, you wrote that down?
Yeah.
Great.
My social,
like
my,
that.
my social is 666. So hit me up.
Yo.
Dude, we just lost our whole Christian following. Right?
No. On this network, I think you just
Oh, they-
built some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't believe in God while believing in the beast, baby.
Cool. And then, I'm Ultimate Dusty. I just do gardening and gaming.
word.
Yeah,
What type of gardening?
all kinds, man. We got pumpkins growing, watermelon growing,
'Cause I've been trying
squashes
to grow
coming in.
some collard greens, but my garden's been fucking up lately. But then again, I haven't put too much attention to it.
Okay, yeah, we haven't tried no collard greens, but we got kale and lettuce and all that good stuff coming in. Just today we harvested some cucumbers and tomatoes.
Hey, yo, you grow some tomatoes, give them to me when they're green. I'm frying them some bitches up.
You
Same
can
way we
probably
with
do that
people.
with the abusive husband.
Exactly,
Yeah, it's
always.
And you?
I'm Christian. I don't rap or garden. I just work at a grocery store.
Damn, yes. You are
My
the
man.
working man, the everyday
Essential.
person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Too essential sometimes, but that's all right.
Too central.
So we're looking forward to having you guys on the network, and I know that you listening out there right now, I can't tell you how exciting this is, how fucking wet you should be getting.
Don't do that.
I did.
I'm dripping. myself.
I'm honestly a little scared.
You got a mop around
Should
here?
be.
Yeah, no.
A healthy dose of fear will always keep you alive. Batman taught me
It's
that.
kind of just one of the rules of the network. You come in here, we all get naked, we record, and it's good to be a little afraid. So
Saves you on AC costs too.
the fact that we are in a basement and it's cooler does not help the fact that I'm still sweating. We have them coming onto the network starting next month. Be ready because it's going to get crazy. Guys, thanks for being here, and let's get back to the show.
Exactly.
Sick.
All right, we're back. Let's just quickly wrap up Dragon Ball. Biggest gripes with the movie, and then we're going to go to the next one. Kelsey.
No Vegeta. It's that simple. No Vegeta.
Kelsey, wait, are you a fan of Vegeta?
A little bit.
I wouldn't know that.
Oh, well, you don't know a lot of things about me, even though I say it all the time.
Yeah, what if Vegeta was here and we're going to tell me his biggest gripe about the movie, how would that sound?
It would sound a little bit like, how could you not include me, the Prince of all Saiyans, in a movie that literally only peaked once I arrived on Earth? Because without me, Kakarot would still be a low-class Saiyan warrior, but I brought out the best in him. And he never brought out the best in me because I'm always getting better.
Vegemite does bring out the best in people, I think.
What the fuck?
The disrespect is over 9,000.
I'd say that's one of my biggest gripes. There was no over 9,000 reference.
Exactly.
None.
Not through the whole film.
Not through the whole fucking
And for
film.
somebody who's not that huge a fan, knows that that's okay.
I'd say
Now I know.
And this is just aesthetically one of my biggest gripes is his fucking hair, because they could have done it better and they could have done it worse, but they finally found that weird middle ground. It's like the movie Clock Stoppers. You don't like it, but you don't hate it.
Was that the one with the watch?
Yes.
And we thought he was traveling through time, but he actually was going super fast the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah. That was alright.
Michelle, what's your biggest gripe of the Dragon Ball movie?
Well, like I said, I watched 30 minutes of it.
Okay, so in that 30 minutes, what's your biggest gripe?
I think the very first 30 minutes, the acting was very poor. Not that it should be like high quality. Well, actually,
It should be high quality.
It should be.
They want my high quality $12
And yeah, I don't have any input on this. It was, if I can't make 30 minutes of a film, or beyond 30 minutes, I should say, it's pretty bad.
That's a bad fucking movie.
And I sat through a lot of shit shows.
Oh yeah, I went to go see Cat in the Hat, and that was even a better movie.
Yes. I mean, I sat through Twilight, so.
Okay, but I did for very different reasons.
I've seen them all too.
Yeah, as far as bad adaptations of beloved franchises go, we got to talk about one that pisses me off to no degree, even though Willem Dafoe was attached to the project. Death Note.
Yes!
He was the best thing in it. Because we already know, as soon as they cast him, I didn't even see I didn't even watch the manga. I didn't know other things, just like the basics. You write a name down,
Yep.
nigga die, demon, Japanese shit. I was like, Willem Dafoe as that motherfucker?
Oh,
Ryuk.
Ryuk.
Ryuk?
Ryuk.
Ryuk?
We American.
Ryuk.
You can say anyway. We know what you're referring to. But I was like, oh yeah, that's him. He gonna kill that. He's gonna kill. And he did.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, it is Ryuk.
yeah.
Okay, so Michelle, go ahead and give us a rundown real quick.
Yeah, so with Death Note, I think it's, if people haven't seen the anime before and they just watched the Netflix film, probably entertained. Had you watched the anime and you start to see the character development between the anime versus the Netflix film, it's super disappointing. And what's disappointing is William Dafoe, yes. Is he Ryuk? And is it going to be, oh my god, yes. And then the actor who plays Light Turner,
Generic white boy number 5.
he was great in Jumanji
I
and some
wanna
other
say-
films, but
Number 8.
Whoa!
you think, okay, maybe we have something going here.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And I think my biggest pet peeves, and I would have to break it down between characters, is there's so much history between the Shinigami and the bookkeepers.
Yes.
Their whole goal is, I need a human to continue to write in this book for my livelihood. In the anime, you see,
Light Yagami.
yes, Light Yagami.
Or you just can say light. It's cool.
Because in Netflix, it's Light Turner.
Of course it is. Hi,
And-
I'm Light Smith.
Like I said,
Light in the anime is kind of a popular school kid. And he was always had his emotions in check. Like, he knew how to take on shit. Then you get into Netflix anime version of Light, and he's the nerdy, which is nothing wrong, but it's this high school student who's going through
You're talking
puberty.
about the original anime, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
And Light in the Netflix show is like puberty ridden, can't control his emotions, doesn't know what he's doing with himself.
it's almost like I'm gonna use this metaphor. Anime Light is Zach Morris if he was the as worse as people like to depict them now. Netflix version would definitely be more discreet. Our Netflix version will be the Tom Holland version of the Andrew Garfield's light in the anime.
Fuck, that was a walk.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a walk.
I do it all the time, baby.
And I think they did it in Netflix so that it was more relatable.
Which is not true. Well, I'm not saying that your statement's wrong, but
No,
if that's the angle that was going from, like,
Yeah.
stop doing that.
But I feel like, oh, okay. And he has, the family issues, and now he's going to revenge against what happened to his family. Where in the anime, it was more like, now you have this power, and you're going to just start off and off people to see that you have that power.
Exactly.
Test it out.
But even more than him just having the power, in the beginning, and even up until the end, he thought he was the hero.
Yeah.
He thought he was doing the world a service. Here's all the people I'm going to kill off because they're bad people.
Well, in
And-
the anime version, he wanted to be godlike.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. In the anime,
Yeah.
he thought he was the best thing that happened.
Yes.
But then it gets to the point, like it always does with people, this kind of power, as soon as someone tells you what you're doing is wrong, then they get on your list.
Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Light was already a narcissist, so we took that shit up to the next level. Now it's like, not only can I do this, let's see how far I can go and how much I can control and structure the world. Because that's like villain 101. No villain ever thinks they're the bad guy, for the most part.
Some do.
For the most
I think
part.
my issue, though, is that's the case in the anime.
Yeah.
In the Netflix film, he wasn't the one that they depicted having that much
Exactly.
power. His girlfriend
Misa
comes
Amane.
in.
They made him a
What
chump.
is she in American? Mia?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one who suddenly has the power and kills off the FBI agents and does all of the things that
She
the
also
Death
had-
Note wants.
Exactly. She had
Yes,
also
yes.
another type of power. That walk power.
Yeah.
She had that
My
coochie.
new favorite song.
Yeah, she had that
yes,
coochie, and we
yes.
all know that men are slaves to that
Yeah.
vagina. We will say anything to have a little bit of that in our lives, especially when depicted in the American version. He was like that outcast loser character, so he's not used to
Yeah.
having women being around him or attracted to her and having that type of attention. So as soon as you get a little taste of that, it's like, oh, a girl likes me.
And so she gave she took the show in the Netflix film, where in anime, Light always had that. And
Yeah,
then
he's using the
the
fuck out of
L
her ass.
characters too, which is hard for me to fathom. Like with L in the anime, yes, was he socially awkward and hard for people to get along with him? Yeah, sure. But he was still a character who kept his emotions in check and was
Always.
able to, where
Until he kicked Light in the face.
Oh, that was yeah.
that shit was hilarious.
God.
I'm like, he would be kicking him with his dirty ass feet.
Yeah. Where yeah, as he sat on the couch with his feet like crawled over the
Hunched
couches.
over, yeah.
Yeah.
His
And
toes just hanging off the edge.
the dark circles under his eyes like a crackhead.
Can't even know.
Yeah. and L in the Netflix series was just way too emotional for me.
Well, and that's one of the things that I was personally disappointed about with this.
Yeah.
Masioka, Hiro Nakamura from Heroes,
Mm-hmm.
was very. He had a big role in bringing this to Netflix, and in his own words, it was going to be truer to the manga and the anime
Mm-hmm.
than anything that had come before it.
Hell yeah, because the dude that played L in America's series, Lakeith Stanfield, we
I
seen him
love
in Get
him.
Out, Atlanta. We know he can. That's the thing too. When I'm like, I know he can
I don't know
act.
if I love him. And yeah, he's a great actor, I think.
And I know-
also
oh,
because
like-
I have a crush on him, but
That's a whole nother conversation. But like, I know he can play awkward and weird because that's normally what he does.
Yeah.
And he just had to play it low. They made him play it high energy.
Yes.
And that's the thing about L. He's calculated. Like with Batman and shit, he's like, I'm not gonna get emotional. I know facts. I know numbers. This, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Netflix, it's like, no, this, raw, yeah. And they did incorporate some of his little ticks and shit, like the candy eating and the sporadicness. But he was a
Yeah.
little too. It's more like, instead of him being on downers, he was on mad coffee. So like, nah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I
Whereas
know who he is.
in the anime, it's all internal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he's playing tennis against Light in the anime, and they're both anticipating what they should do and what the other person's gonna do, because the anime was chess.
yeah.
It was the biggest game of chess.
And that's the thing too, which made the live action so disappointing after I watched the anime. It's like, why in God's green earth would you try to fit this shit into an hour and a half? At least do a mini series, like a 5-part mini series, spread it out a couple of seasons, cool, but it was too much story. And the biggest thing that I missed from the live action that we got in the anime was just the Light and L interaction.
Too much butter on not enough toast.
Yeah, exactly. They actually was not clicking, but it was around each other. You had the playing tennis, them hanging out, trying to figure shit out, and then you have the other cops involved into that. They had the whole story with that. So it's like there's a lot of this human nature and interaction that we missed out on because they try to cram it in and flip it.
And even our anime Shinigami, and like Ryo, you see in the anime it depicts so well his irritation. And I'm clicking my fingers because it's like, come on, let shit happen. Like, I'm bored, let it go. William Dafoe tried to do a good job at it, and I think directorial, they failed him. Yeah. And it was like, show that they need things to happen to make them feel alive.
Well, exactly, and not to constantly bring things back to Coco, but it's like being remembered. If you're not remembered, if certain tribute isn't paid, then guess what, little bones? You're gone.
Yeah.
Did he even eat an apple?
No.
In the live action?
He did. There was a scene when Light first met Ryoko. And then, at the house. After
did he
got in
eat
a
it,
fight
or
with
he
his
just left
dad. And if I remember, he threw the apple and it went to the closet and it got thrown back out eaten.
But you don't see it the same way you do in the
see, that's what I'm saying. Like, even little things like that. Because Ryo loves apples just as much as those twos do, baby. Yeah. Twos and now apples.
Because now
you get 5 meow beans for that one, baby.
Because and then the key thing is he was now attached to the human world, and it tasted livelier.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
It's like unlike eating bland food.
These apples are so good. Yeah. Kill someone, Light. Or don't. Let's see what humans do. Such curious creatures.
Yes. Yes.
That shit.
But I think my biggest thing is I think Netflix film did touch on the rules of the book.
Yes.
One thing they failed on was the very ending of the film. When his girlfriend and the page was burned. In the anime series, it didn't matter if you destroyed the page, it had been written.
Yeah. The truth is written.
As you said, truth is written, as Kelsey always said.
And that's the end of our whole podcast and network, folks. We're done for life.
So it's like, are you setting it up for a sequel? How do you do that? Because you just, I don't know if that's what you're trying to portray to the audience, that she loved him so much, she burned the book. Which, the girlfriend in the anime series would have never betrayed Light. Never.
Once. She even wiped her memory for him.
Exactly. And that shit's very Harley Quinn Joker-esque, because Light was mentally abusing her, taking advantage of this girl that just loved him and wanted to do anything in the world for him. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, you dumb bitch.
Yep.
I'm about to fuck all this up. So who are you to me?
There was so much depth that they could have captured in the Netflix film that they failed at, and Death Note would have been phenomenal for that. But they failed it.
So before we get to the end, there is one more adaptation I want to talk about. Yeah. And Kelsey, I think this is one that you had some more to say about, was Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, and this is a perfect segue too, because the live action adaptation of Death Note, and of course people are going to have like their preferences, because a lot of issues with these movies when they're adapted from even just Chinese culture, Japanese culture, anything foreign, is like the fact of it being quote unquote whitewashed. But in this particular instance with Death Note, that wasn't my issue with it. Like, they didn't have to be Asian, because this wasn't specific to just Japanese culture. The books literally could be found anyway. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, you have a movie like Ghost in the Shell, which people were shitting on from Jump Street because there wasn't an Asian lead playing a robot. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, but even if they did, the movie wasn't all that.
No, it really wasn't.
And
you can make a film that is not, like you talked about the descriptions of anime characters being Americanized or whatever. It was just Scarlett Johansson. I love you, girl, but
she's one of our bigger listeners on the show.
Yeah, we don't need you as every lead in every woman movie. I get you played Black Widow, but at the same time, it's all about the script, directors. And if you would have had an Asian woman in that film, it still wouldn't have made money, because even with Scarlett, it barely make any money.
But someone also did have to come in and tell Scarlett Johansson you can't play every role. Yes, there's going to be a Harriet Tubman biopic coming out. You can't be Harriet Tubman.
That was Julia Roberts. They was about to have her play.
Oh my god.
No, well, that was actually brought up in the meeting. Somebody actually came out their mouth was like, "How about?" And it was like, "How about no? Let's move on." But that's one thing.
How about I'm going to pretend that I never heard you say that?
Oh, it's factual. You can
No,
go
that's
there.
what they said in the meeting.
Yeah. So with Ghost in the Shell, I just feel like it's one of the things too. Like people also forget like Hollywood is a business, even though it's gonna sell away because I'm black, and we show through Black Panther because that's one of the myths in Hollywood. Like black people don't quote unquote see movies, or a black led film doesn't make money X Y Z. And like you don't know that until it happens, and you give us what we want to see with people we want to see it from, and it made money. So it's the whole narrative. Like I can't name more than 2 movies with a male Asian lead.
Yeah.
Period. That's not a martial arts film.
Yes. No, I completely agree.
Aren't-
As being...
And even with Asian women, I can't even name you 3. Period.
The thing is, it wouldn't be movies, but there are TV shows like Killing Eve.
But that's all like that's no more than 5.
That's
on my
exactly
hand.
no, exactly. You're
like
right.
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
That's the only 2 that could come in the head. And then James Cho, where he had the one when his daughter went missing.
Yeah,
Facebook.
yep.
But those are smaller films, like a male.
Parasite.
Yeah, like those movies.
But they have to be so
And
niche-y.
the problem is there's not a diversity of casting with Asian female roles. Michelle Yeoh, I
And Lucy
adore
Liu.
her. Yeah.
That's it.
Michelle Yeoh, who has been in Memoirs of a Geisha.
My movie.
Yeah. The Last Christmas.
X2.
And
Lady That's Right.
several other films. She is constantly casting. She's a phenomenal actress, but there are a million amazing Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Korean actresses that could cross over, and they just aren't given the chance.
Because of Hollywood. That's why you need
Yes.
more diversity in every industry so these people's stories are told. Or if you literally just cast the best person for the role, who's to say that an Asian woman can't be fucking, I don't know, Bella from Twilight or some shit, even
Yeah.
though the character was written as a white
Well,
girl.
that's the thing.
That's neither here nor there.
Or
But
she
it's like,
could have been casted in Ghost in the Shell, as
oh,
you
Ghost-
said. Yeah.
exactly. So
I mean, not to mention the people that are saying that they should redo the Harry Potter books as a series, but with the way that, they've talked about how Hermione is black. Harry is Indian because the whole name Harry Potter, it was Hari, means it's about a prophesied deliverer.
and they can, if they want to. I don't care. Like Harry
Do you
Potter.
really
Harry
think
Potter.
it would have saved Ghost in the Shell? Though?
No, it wouldn't have.
Okay.
Like even if they had Lucy,
That's, I think, what I was trying to trace it back to.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
even if they would have had, like I said, Lucy Liu as Ghost in the Shell, like, all right, cool, she in the movie. I ain't gonna make me rush. And I said,
Yeah.
Hollywood is about making that dollar, and that's another thing too. Does it work the same way? Like in Japan, if they were doing an American adaptation of a movie, do they cast American actors or they just have it set in Japan because that's their market they're doing to? Because some of it is just business to a degree,
yes.
and it's just like, why would I go out my way to do this if we're telling this story here for our audience, putting our culture on top of that? But it just gets a little tricky because of the way the world is and how white people have structured it and placed themselves in these positions.
Yeah.
Because if everything was fair on paper, we wouldn't have these discussions. I tell people all the time, like, don't get mad at me for saying what I'm saying now because our forefathers couldn't get it right back then. We need to fix these things now so 10 years from now, we're not having the same fucking conversations.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
And I have to say, like, when you say if other countries do it, I have to bring it back to horror films, which you both know I'm huge on horror films.
Yes.
For me, I'll start with the Japanese American adaptation, and then I'll swing it back to how Americans or Koreans derived some of the American stories, or not necessarily American stories, but anyways, so Americans doing Japanese films for horror. You got The Ring, you got One Missed Call, you got Pulse. It's very hard for me to enjoy those films. I enjoy them because I love horror films. But do they get me the way when I watch them in their original version? No. And I think it's because they miss the entire depth of the story.
Yes, they missed the soul or
Yeah.
the
Even in
heart
Pulse.
and the integrity of this for an energy.
Pulse. You and I love Kristen Bell.
Took the words right out of my
couldn't-
mouth.
She couldn't save that film. Director couldn't save that film.
Only thing I liked about this film was the concept itself. Everything else is...
Yeah, but they totally took away from the depth of electronics taking away from us.
Yes.
If you watch the Japanese version, you feel it.
Word.
Same thing as The Ring or The Grudge, the new Grudge. It's like, you tried, you failed.
Yeah, it's almost
You
like...
missed that entire depth of story background before you got to where we were
And it's a
going.
cultural thing, too, because they're more attuned with that afterlife and that spirituality more than we are here. And it's kind of like the whole anime subs versus dubs. Like, there's a reason why I love subs compared to dubs, because when you're watching the sub, you feel the intensity of the words, you reading them, and it just comes out the way it's intended.
Yes.
Where dubs are just like, yo, yeah, you're saying it, but it doesn't have that same heat to it, that same emotion.
Well, and I'd like to throw in there Shutter in 2004,
Yeah.
which is a Taiwanese movie.
Not Shutter Island, but
No,
just
no,
Shutter.
it's just
correct?
Shutter.
Okay.
And it's about a
Yeah.
couple, and they're developing their films. They keep seeing weird shadows, and it's this whole thing. But then you get the 2008 remake with Joshua Jackson, Pacey from Dawson's Creek, or Charlie from Mighty Ducks. However
There
you
you
know
go.
him.
Yeah.
And I saw the original, and it was fantastic. It scared the shit out of me. And then we watched the 2008 one, and that is a bad movie with people who have no chemistry or believable,
taking
like
from-
delivering their lines. Yeah.
And they're taking from the Asian culture. If you get the story right, you don't need the jump scares.
No.
And I think that's what American filmmakers are banking on, is the jump scares or bloody, and like Old Boy.
I think you mean what they're bang cocking on.
and and like Old Boy. I mean, it's an action film, but
Oh my god.
the American version condensed the whole story. And like I told Kelsey, I'm not going to ruin it for everybody, but I told him the
If you know,
Korean
you know.
version of the ending. And that's more fucked up than the American version.
And now I know why Will Smith had passed on it, because originally he was supposed to be in the American version, but he was like, I know about entanglements.
But
And
there's
that's
also
not what I'm trying to get into.
there's also the idea that when it gets translated here,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they think we can't handle what the way the intensity
too
of the
taboo.
original. Exactly.
It's not as a
exactly.
fucking movie. You have your choice of watching it or not.
But how's that going to make the conservatives and the people that focus on the family feel?
Yeah.
Kelsey?
Nobody gives a fuck because it's been rated R movies
Yeah.
since Jump Street. And
if it was taboo in Korea, tell me. It ain't gonna. It will translate to American
And the
terms.
thing too is like, it's also like Hollywood. Once again, they see something that's trending, that's popular overseas, and they don't want to invest in original properties or ideas. So it's like, all right, if this was happening over there, let's try to do that here almost verbatim, just to see if we could make money. Because there's not too many American trends in movies that catch on to the degree that they have to start doing it. Like the Asian, like that style, and then you get the Insidious, so that's a new thing.
Right,
Like every
right.
year there's a new trend. Like
But
vampire.
James Wan is. Oh, I
Yeah, like
love
you have the
him.
vampire thing here and there, then you have like the Saws here and there, and then even like when musicals came back for a little bit, it was like all the musicals, like of course superhero genres
The
are
thing
going
with
on right
James
now.
Wan, though, who did Insidious and all of that from the beginning, who is also an Asian director, knew we didn't need your jump scares. I can tell you a story. I can incorporate it in timing
Yes.
and scare the
It
shit
will
out
live
of you.
in your bones after you
Yes.
leave the theater, and then you're like, "That wasn't so bad." And then you start looking around the room, and you start feeling that.
And you hear tiptoe.
Tiny Tom never felt so crazy to me. But the way that you were saying, when they try and take it verbatim and bring it here, this isn't Eastern culture or Western culture, but there's a British show called The IT Crowd, and it is fucking hilarious. But they tried to remake it here in America, keeping one of the cast members from the original show on, and having Joel McHale, right before he signed up for Community,
Okay.
play a character. And it was shot for shot, it was line for line, and it didn't work.
What is the UK version, the version that's on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, because I recognize one of the dudes.
Yes.
The one with the glasses.
Richard Ayoade.
From shit. So I was
Yep.
like, okay.
But when they tried to bring it here, it was the exact same thing. But even though it was the exact same thing, for some reason, the soul of it was gone.
I know, and that's one of the things too. Like, we're so quick to call certain people in this country lazy, but all our originality comes from other places.
Look at The Office.
Well, The Office, to what people say, I see it here and there. I get why people love it, but yeah.
I loved both versions.
Well, that's cool too, but then it's like, all right, be original. Nah, fuck that shit. We ain't gonna give these other people of color and these other sexes and things the opportunity to tell their original stories. We're just gonna take from this culture and make their movies. We're just gonna do what's trending right now. Like when the Steadicam films were the craze. We got so many shitty ones that we can't even appreciate the good ones because people just associate with, I don't like this.
Right.
But you get past that, and if you do it right, this makes the movie and brings a realism to it.
I watched so many of them, I eventually got to just VHSs of my parents having sex. I shouldn't have seen that.
Yo, I ain't gonna get into that. I'm not gonna step into that. But it's also just like, it's fascinating how we critique certain genres and certain things for not being original, because people let this shit on hip hop for, like, example, sampling. Motherfucker, all the music in the world, 90% of it is all sampled from black voices. So don't sit here and tell me about how the most popular art form in the world is unoriginal. Can you take something from something and make it something new? No, you can't. Just like us, like, we need to stop taking all these ideas from other places. Yeah, even with Asians too, like, yo, we took the karates and shit, we try to make our own shit and not want to give these people their just dues. Like, we want to be takers, but we don't want to give credit. And I think if they start giving more people credit for their ideas and allow people to breathe and just try some shit, you get hit gold more often than not.
I have to say, there is a storyline, and if you ever have the chance, watch Hansel and Gretel. It's a Korean horror film. And we all know Hansel and Gretel is not a Korean story, but watch the film and see how they took the adaptation of that story and made it completely their own. Americans can take a lesson and look at, oh, well, shit, we can take a basis of a story and make it all our own. We don't have to make it like we're remaking an Asian story, remaking, African story, Indian story, or, Spanish film. It is just the film that the story base. And theirs was so dark and twisted that it was like, and that's the thing with Asian horror films. You are afraid just as you are sad from a film.
Word. And even with that being said, Michelle, even if they just wanted to basically take the ring and make it here, just cast all Asians.
Yeah.
And put them in America.
Well, I think
just do that at least. Like,
if I'm not mistaken, they did that with both Shutters, where the same dead girl played the same role in both.
Is that?
But again, with
did she?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was her. Okay.
As I said with the whole IT crowd, even if you're just keeping one member of it, the heart is gone because the story's already been told, and the story must be told.
Exactly, and you want to take those movies and put like an American face to bring in box office dollars, but nobody interested in the story. Nobody's gonna see like a B-list, C-list character. Like no shit, not the shit on Sarah Michelle Gellar, but the movie made money because it was intriguing, it was something new, and it was quote unquote scary, not because she was in it. So you could have cast a no-name person. People would have seen that movie. You would have saved money from having to pay her. Now you broke in a new star that could catapult into doing some other shit with her capital. If let's say she was Asian, then she could have took that money, start developing her own company, make her own films, and now you have a whole new crop of entertainment for people in the world. So, the little things go a long way. Jessica Simpson.
All right, well, we are here at the end of the show. Thank you guys for being here again. It's so good to have you back, Michelle.
Thanks.
We miss you. As we wrap up, anything you guys want to plug? This is the last of our series. Next month, we have another one coming for you. You'll see what it is when it's here. But where can the people find you, and anything you'd like to plug on these movies that did do it right?
Yeah, you can find me Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Kels for Show. And I just want to plug, you probably heard me talk about this movie before, but I'm going to talk about it again. If you want to see a great Dragon Ball Z movie, check out Dragon Ball Super Broly. I watched that shit too many times, but I never feel bad because it's always great.
I am Michelle Gideon. You can find me on Instagram as Lee Gideon or Facebook, Michelle Gideon. I'd say a movie that, one, if you want to read the book, is amazing, and also watch the film, is Memoirs of a Geisha.
Kelsey's life story.
My seventh life. Shout out to Maura McTaggart.
Phenomenal, with a great cast that is not whitewashed, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's a great American adaptation of a Japanese film. Yeah.
Whoa, when are we going to get My Life as American Geisha? Like, when is that movie going to start? When, like, Michelle Pfeiffer
I'm working on it,
is like the only white geisha, and she frees all the other geishas or some shit. Or the modern day interpretation of it.
Do I need to free you? No, well, that doesn't
First we get.
I didn't know what joke to make because I want to break free. I'm like, oh.
First we get My Life as a Teenage Robot, the movie, and then we get My Life as an American Geisha.
Yo, you are a teenage robot.
I am.
No, you're a teenage dirtbag, baby.
There it is.
You listen to Iron Maiden, baby.
For me, Daniel Rojas on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Morpho, one word, where the O's are zeros, but I barely post on there. I'm going to try and get back into that. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, Escaping Podcast. And I guess my plug for today, I'm going to go for two. The original Taiwanese Shutter, fantastic movie. And then a little ditty called Tai Chi Zero. If you like martial arts and you like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, you need to see this fucking movie.
Is that a workout I do in the living room?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I watch you all the time, and I never saw you do any Tai Chi Zero.
You are the ghost.
Yeah, I'm in a show. So, thank you all for listening. Today we're leaving you with the final track of Prefab Soul's album, and this is called Husk. If you or anyone else you know would like to have your music featured, go ahead and email us at escaping.podcast@gmail.com. I love you guys. I am so sweaty and naked and ready for you to listen to this. And remember, there can only be one chum bucket.
Kelsey, you can put your clothes on.
Yo, whatever dream you have right now, go for it. Go get it. Go now. Break free and become an escapee. Stay uncanny, y'all.